I'm going to respond to a guy I'm going to call Danger Mouse, DM Danger Mouse. Maybe sliding the DMs, I don't know. But anyway, basically, in response to a video called Derek Acorah in a Nutshell. Their comment reads, and I'll read parts of it and then I'll respond to it. Why go to a show if you can't afford it? No one is forced to go. Most people have an open mind about the readings. One, the spiritualists wouldn't call them readings because they believe they're messages from the other side, so it's not a reading. Two, yes, you're right, no one who is of right mind, who cannot afford it, would go unless they have some kind of compulsion, which could happen. People get addicted to the idea of communicating with their loved ones and the idea of confirmation of the afterlife because it comforts them. Understandable. No one is forced to go. You are correct. No one is forced to go. It's a business venture. People have the right to do it. Then again, you could say that no one is forced, strictly speaking, into, from the outside anyway, into Scientology. If you're raised in Scientology, you're forced and kept in it to a large degree. But even so, with a great many scams and cults and things of this kind, you're not forced. You're coerced. You're convinced that you should go, and it's worth going because it's of some kind of greater benefit. For you, it could be a question of desperately contacting your dead husband, or whatever the case may be, mother, father, grandmother, grandfather, or whatever, your lost child that died in the early months of life, whatever the case may be. Okay, you have seen Tony Stockwell, Colin Fry, and Derek twice. Good for you. That tells me nothing, and I think we tolerate these people because they're not strictly an absolute scam. They are being dishonest. They are selling a misleading product. They don't really communicate with the afterlife as far as we can tell, as far as we can confirm. And so what we should really be is critical of it until evidence arrives. That's the way it works. Positive evidence, positive results actually confirms the validity of something. And when there are many possibilities, you cannot say for absolute what is correct. In fact, you'd probably say, if you've gone a number of times as a kind of believer, that you have seen evidence, that you've heard evidence. The messages, the readings are evidential. And yet I could say easily, if I were a Muslim or a Christian, that's demons and not, the spirits, or I could say it's aliens if I was some kind of wacky New Ager, which I'm not. But in any case, let's move on. He was a very nice guy. I don't think he was fake at all. Give him some respect, and his family. No. Basically, me pointing out that he was almost certainly fake is a matter of fact, not emotion. The tricks he used, the con artistry he used, the ridiculous possessions, the ridiculous methods that this man used to convey the idea that he was communicating with the dead. Not a new trick, not a trick only done by him. Many people do it, thousands of people around the world, and dozens of those people are well-known TV psychics in the UK, America, and around the world. And I think it's worth pointing out where they are, in fact, fake, where they are, in fact, not offering reality. And you might say, well, put aside the most haunting possessions, put aside the dramatics and the repeated messages, the generalizations, the fishing for correct answers. With I'm getting a name beginning with a J. I'm getting a name beginning with a J here. Oh, can you take J? This is a male energy, isn't it? And all this kind of thing. Sorry, that's a terrible accent, but I'm not very good at accents anyway, at least half the time. But in any case, when someone is doing that and you're saying, put it aside and think about, the good he's done. I don't think he's fake. I think he's giving out good information. Well, Danger Mouse, let me tell you, even if that's true, that is no reason to ignore the obvious fakery. Even if he's done some good things and seemed to be a nice guy, and he actually helped to fund a dog sanctuary, helping out dogs, then so, good for him. Good for him. That is good. That is good. But the bad exists too. The bad still exists, continues to exist. And give him some respect. And his family. I think I've given them enough, to be honest. By that I do mean that in terms of talking about what is seemingly real, the best information we have suggests that Derek Acorah, at best, even if you're a believer, he was a faker for half the time. He was a faker who made up things. People edited his television shows. That's been shown time and time again. He had lessons in acting, if you look back at his life. Presentation, how to appeal to the audience. It's all a very wacky process. In fact, it's one thing that many spiritualists take issue with. But in any case, I think talking about the facts is not a matter of the emotionality of him or his family. And if they're looking for videos critical of Derek, then I would say they've got a few bigger problems than me talking about Derek. Wouldn't you?